morning stream on this Friday. I had a few things to do later this evening, so I wasn't going to be able to stream during the normal times. So I would like to get at least a stream in. We're going to switch it up. Our last two streams have both been Blue White Approach, so we'll switch it up and go back to this Black White Tokens deck. I'm not sure this deck's tier 1 at all, but it's certainly pretty fun, and I'm interested in working in it a little bit more. The only change we've made so far is we moved the Sun Scourgers to the side. We left them in the deck completely because I have an unnatural fear to mono red. We shaved a Fumigate and a Duress for them, and cut the Pillaging Hordes. The Pillaging Hordes were less good than I thought they would be. I probably need just a bunch of Doom Balls and a bunch of creatures in general to make Pillaging Horde good. But we're going to try these Room Raiders. One of the problems we were having was we were running out of cards, and the Greed Enchantment might be a better card overall, and we might look into that next. But we're generally always attacking in the early game, so we should be able to get quite a few raid triggers while it's a creature that has a power and toughness, which is again what we need versus mono red, and the entire kind of goal of this deck is to be good versus mono red. Don't know if that's worth it, but we're gonna jump into the games and see how it works out. I'm not promising I'll be able to play all 5 matches. I have a bit of a tummy ache again. Always. It seems like I can never get more than a couple of hours of feeling good these last few weeks. Everything's been nagging me to death, but we will keep on keeping on. It's not a big deal or anything. Doesn't seem to be a whole lot of people online this morning. Of course, when I log on at 5:30 Eastern, I suppose there won't generally be a lot of people online. So hopefully the queues won't be too bad. If the queues are super long, we'll probably call it early as well because I know it's kind of boring to watch long queues. And as usual, I forget to turn my volume off. That's just a constant thing that we do here. So this is a snap mulligan. We generally never want to draw more than 2 fatal pushes in a game, sometimes not more than 1. We've already considered shaving down to a third. Some people playing the black-white archetype have shaved all 4 out of the main and just played the Duresses. I've not gone that far yet, but we certainly don't want 3. But even if we did want 3, we don't have the mana, so... and this hand's very good. We'll go ahead and put that on top as well. And we're versus a blue-white deck. It's probably blue-white approach, and if it's a blue-white approach, it's obviously our worst match. So that's a little annoying. And we drew this fatal push, which is even worse. We do have the two lost legacies in the sideboard though, so we improve a little bit post board. Well, that's nice. So now he's not going to be able to censor. So this 2-drops was extremely good, but everybody keeps wanting me to replace it. I've liked the idea of being able to just place something that could help us ramping into cats versus the red decks, but there's a lot of other reasonable 2-drops like Servo Expedition that can be played. Like, it doesn't have to be Dire Fleet Hoarder. When we have the 4 5-drops main deck, though, I've kind of just leaned towards playing it. It's felt okay. So they have Search for Azcanta. That is the best card in their deck by a decent margin. Not going to save this for hidden stockpile or anything this game. I feel like we're going to get pretty far behind anyway. And at some point, he's probably going to kill that and give us a way to trigger it if we wanted. Um, hopefully he won't have a. Hopefully he won't have a search or a settle the wreckage or whatever. That would be nice. I believe that blue-white control is exceptionally good in this format. Just both the approach, which is probably our opponent's double queuing in a casual room while playing us. That's kind of interesting. Doesn't seem to be playing slow though. Search for Azcanta is just way overperformed. Um, we got trophies on both of our last two streams with it. We're 18-2 with Blue White Approach overall, but and if we were playing to win, we'd be playing probably Blue White Approach at the current time. But again, I don't want to overload with the same deck over and over on stream. That feels a little lackluster to do. I'm gonna go ahead and play this. I don't really care if he casts Fumigate on that one because it has Embalm. And we will get to flip this little Azcanta, which is nice. Gives us something to do post Fumigate if he does have it. So yeah, it's a Fumigate. Can't really play around them though. Like we're not gonna beat them by like not playing out on the board. Sure. And it's just way too many lands at this point. I'm gonna play this one because the other guy puts out a 1/1 lifelinker, and that's a little bit better than the one option we have. But him going into turn 6 at 20 life is just not a recipe for success. Sure. Well, another land's not inspiring. And we can still activate our land. So how is everybody that's in here today? It's another Fumigate. It's unfortunate. Well, that's really all of our gas. We can try some miracle line where where we grind them out from here, but it's pretty unlikely. We'll go ahead and get the Gideon off the table though while we can. So our opponent can flip Search for Azcanta now, and things get really bad. Not just bad, friends, but really bad. Hey, Elijah's back. Hello, everyone. Just tapping another mana right now. I'd probably use this activation, but like he can really do no harm now. Let's pick your poison. I forgot to post that we were streaming. Rip. Ooh, I forgot something. Thought I was doing so well this morning too. Of course. Another Fumigate. So keep on keeping on, folk. Sure. It's a cast out. There's no reason for me to use this when he has the Fumigate in his hand. I'd rather just wait and use it at the end of turn still. He chose not to put the card in the graveyard. Well, that's a bad sign. F6 value, and we can't outrace it now. He's at 28 life. He can get it in 2 turns. We have a literal 0 out. Another land's certainly not the out. All right, but we had no out there. Alright, so let's start by getting these Fatal Pushes directly out of the deck. Do not pass go yet. I don't actually mind the Sunscourgers champions in this match too much. The Anointed Priests don't do too much. The castouts are reasonable. The castouts can stop Azcantas early. They're also good to get a Regal Caracol. They can get like Torrential or Kefnet and stuff if they play them. These Anointer Priests are actually just pretty bad. I'd rather just have a Sunscourger over a random Anointer Priest. Like, we don't care about our life total going big, and this guy has Eternal Eyes, which is something. The cats hit too hard to get rid of, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll just submit it like this. So we're 1-1 with Blue-White Approach versus this deck, but I feel like we're very unfavored. To fix the match, we'd probably have to put in like a 3rd Lost Legacy in the sideboard, and maybe even the 4th Duress, maybe the Black Greed. This hand's plenty fine. It's going to be a while before we can get a Rune Raider trigger, if we can get one at all, but the hand itself's pretty fine. It's like all the key cards we really want here. Actually going to lead with the Dire Fleet Hoarder. It does damage, and it could enable our Rune Raider, which we're going to get to play and just start ticking up, and hopefully we will get to deal enough pressure before a Wrath comes down. This is the go. Hey, little kitty. Meow, meow, little kitty. Meow, meow. Sorry. So we don't have to settle, or we don't have to worry about settle to wreckage this turn, which is nice. He could easily have Supreme Will for our hidden stockpile, which would be unfortunate. Huh. It's kind of interesting. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice this because we want to scry. We want to make sure we find a land. The land's fairly important here because if he does have settle to wreckage on the following turn, we want to be able to lead, or we want to be able to follow it up with a Regal Caracal. So I think we'll protect the Rune Raider. Actually, we won't. We're just gonna jam. If he's got settle, he's got settle. Alright, so no settle. What's the plan if he has no settle? Let's start with this. Put that on the bottom. I guess this is fine. It's a mana producer. And it presents lethal. Like we have 7 damage in play if he doesn't have a Fumigate now. Don't want to go overboard though. Could have like a Regal Caracal or something, but then we'd have a couple scries. Alright, so we have a couple scries here. Then he's going to gain 2 life. Another Rune Raider? Rune Raider's probably good enough to keep. Yeah, I'm fine with keeping Rune Raider. Go ahead and sacrifice another thing. Just so he only gains 2 life instead of the extra. So if he's got double Fumigate, we're in trouble. I could have tapped my mana better. I was originally going to play the Rune Raider, and I changed my mind. So that's kind of a small misplay. I could have an extra treasure here, and that could prevent him from gaining an extra point of life if he does have the second Fumigate. It's a bit of a play error by me. I don't know. I don't think 1 point of life changes too much, but of course. So we're probably in pretty deep now. But we've not drawn a single sideboard card. And he drew two of his best card. Alright, well. The fact that our opponent has 7 cards till he hits this thing. We'll go ahead and go with this thing. And we'll go ahead and sacrifice this thing. Mainly for the scry. Oh, we don't want that. Alright, we'll put more pressure on the board, I guess. And if he has just drawn the second, if he draws 2 approaches and 2 fumigates in his top 20 cards, there's obviously just nothing we can do. We're technically deeper in our deck than they are, and we've missed all 5 of our sideboard cards. Technically, we've missed all 7. We didn't draw a cast out either, but cast out isn't particularly good, obviously. Oh, and another fumigate. Sometimes. Alright. Well, it's a little disheartening. We'll put the one down that gives us the most damage. Hey, George Clooney, what are you into today, man? Not saw you in a while. I've already told it to always yield to that, so it's kind of aggravating that it's not always yielding to that. We'll go ahead and sacrifice one of these because we're still just wanting to find a Lost Legacy. Or an Anointed Procession or something. So he put on bottom there. So it's a card for his turn, a card for his turn again, an op to the bottom, and a thing. So it's still 3 cards down. Or he just draws one anyway. Alright, so he scryed exactly 1 card to the bottom and found 3 fumigates and 2 approaches in the top 21 cards. It's a pretty unfortunate luck by us, but like I said, I expect that to be a bad matchup for us anyway, so getting a little unlucky in a bad match isn't something that you're ever really that sad about, since, you know, you'd have to get a little lucky to beat them anyway. You don't want to use... If you're unfavored to lose, you don't want to anyway. So, 10 a.m. PDC. What is PDT time? 10 p.m. PDT time. What in the world is PDT time? Oh, so it's just Pacific. Why'd they put the D on the end of it? That's just weird to me. So October 5th at 1 a.m. my time is when this starts. I'm looking at the group stage for World, sorry. Looks like a pretty decent day. Cloud9 versus plays SKT1 on day 1. EDDJ plays AHQ, and Fibonacci plays Renegade. Probably going to be a fairly good day 1. So the Rune Raiders were pretty sweet there. They let us keep up with the opponent who was casting Glimmers and stuff. Oh, I forgot our opponent did cast a Supreme Will that game. I guess he was technically 24 cards deep into his deck, not 21. My bad. It's kind of late here. It's going on 6 a.m., so... some things are going to be a tad over my head this morning. Maybe we don't need all the Sunscourge champions. That would give us up a lot more sideboard slots to try to beat the control matches. We could add like the Duress and 2 of the Greed and like maybe a 3rd Lost Legacy. Angel Sanctions have been pretty good. I don't really want to cut them. The Fumigates have been good. I don't want to cut them. Like, I guess the Sunscourge Champion's the least good card that we've had so far. Maybe the Fatal Push out of the main deck and just move the Duresses into the main. Would free up 4 board slots. Not sure. To get some more reps in. Still 65% for a 20 game sample size, which isn't particularly good, but anytime you're above 60%, it's okay in terms of Magic. Alright, so we have round 2. Yeah. I am looking forward to sleep pretty hard right now. Alright, so this is similar to game 1. We have only 1 land again. We're playing 24 lands in this build. So we'll go ahead and mulligan it. This hand's fine. We'll keep. This hand's pretty good. Cat's too much mana for us to keep right now, unfortunately. And there's a mountain. Well, mountain causes problems. Probably just going to hold the Fatal Push for it. We're going to take the 1 damage here because healing a Karl Zev is a lot more important, and if he doesn't, wow, okay. Alright then. Pick up a 1 lander. That's a bit greedy, but could be good enough. So this uses our mana a little bit more efficiently. They don't have a shock either, or they don't think that's worth shocking. One of the two. Not actually sure which. So they're mana screwed, they may block. I guess they're not going to block. Double Rune Raider versus Mono Red may be a thing that hurts a lot. Or we could get lucky and it could be a thing that hurts none. Who knows? Alright, so opponent finally hit a land. So they're going to abrade, potentially my Rune Raider. Hey, Darth Butt Plunder. Good morning to you too. Welcome back. What kind of work do you do? Yeah, I really like these Rune Raiders. These Rune Raiders have already earned their keep a fair amount. Till we get slapped by 5 points of damage here in a minute from one. That's going to be great. Alright, so opponent's done, but he did keep a 1 land hand versus us. Alright, well anyway, so our Sunscourge champions are kind of in the sideboard to make the full swap here. I don't know how good that is. Also, kind of like a couple Fumigates and a couple Cast Outs versus the Mono Red matches. Come on, man. Get your butt over there. There you go. There you go. Build motors for locomotives. Wow. That seems like you're a lot more intelligent than I am. That does not seem like the type of thing I can do. In general, I think the anointed processions are a little bit slow, especially on a draw. Like if you're tapping out for a 4 mana, don't affect the board spell versus mono red, I don't feel like you're going to win. They're a little bit better on the draw, I think. Or, sorry, on the play, I think. And I think the Dark Fleet Hoarders are a little worse on the play. But, so we'll be bringing some processions back in for the next game. That sounds like you have a pretty nice job. So opponent snap kept that game, or hand. He like kept faster than I've ever seen a human being keep. Started off with a nice little 1-drop. We also start off with a nice little 1-drop. So they do have a second land this game. We're just not going to block. Versus anything but Karl Zev, blocking seems pretty poor. Alright, well that's unfortunate. So I kind of want this to die, but I also don't want to get completely blown out by like just a random burn spell to my head. So I guess we'll make these blocks. Prevents damage and makes him need to use a burn spell. And we're planning on fumigating here in a turn or two anyway. Sure. And this gives us a treasure door we can play a cast out this turn if we really need to, but we're probably not going to. The plan's probably just to embalm a cat and play a hidden stockpile. Well, now that he's made that play, the plan's probably to do the same. We, unfortunately, because of all of that, we really need to land now. Because this Hazoret's online. If he has a Hazoret. Well, that's good. Alright, well, we'll just prevent damage again, I guess. Like, we're just looking to cast a Fumigate here. Unfortunately, we need to land bad enough to cast a cast out here. And we didn't get to land anyway. Oh well. That makes us frown a little bit. I think we had a solid hand, but... well, that didn't help. Alright. Hello, friend. It's just more of the same. So opponent has to have like all burn spells or maybe glory bringers or something. Who knows? If it is a glory bringer, we're going to take a buttload of damage. So we can scry this time. Well, we don't want the land. Actually, we kind of do want the land, I guess, so we can play the Regal Caracal next turn. Or the turn after we play the one thing. Alright, so we go back to 12. Still has 3 cards in hand. He hadn't been using any burn spells or anything. We have to just assume they're Glory Bringers. He's got multiple Glory Bringers. Things are going to get real difficult for us here. It's just real difficult if he has another Glory Bringer in hand. Probably can't beat another Glory Bringer without top decking our last cast out anyway. Be hard for us to beat one either way. Not sure. Well, that was a great draw. So we're going to start with this. Let's sack this for green. So we're going to try to gain 2 life here, and we get a stockpile trigger. So he kind of gets to pick his pulls in here. If he has a removal spell, he can either kill the cat or he can kill the priest. Either one of them, we start getting a pretty good amount of life. So we shoot back up to 11, and we go back down to 8. After he lightning strikes us instead of the cat or the priest. So he's just like, he just knows he's going to draw X card then. It's kind of interesting. So what can we do here? I think it's safe to sack this during our upkeep. Certainly put that on bottom. Draw our card for our turn. And it's a pretty dead card, but that's whatever. And we're not going to attack this turn, I don't think. We probably will use the Shepherd Dunes and attack next turn, though. Actually, we may not use the Shepherd Dunes at all. We may just get the Legion's Landing online. Yeah, that seems like the best plan here. Just want to attack with 3 different things. Which means we probably played a little suboptimally last game. Guess we're attacking with 3 different things. We'd rather attack with those 3. That way he doesn't just get to chump a Serbo. It, at worst case, trades now. And that's all fine. Sack the Beaumont, but I still gain 2 life and flip the thing. I technically could have scryed away to 1, but I wasn't thinking far enough ahead. That was a play mistake by me. I missed 1 scry. We're going to go ahead and do this now, too. In case he draws a lightning strike or whatever, we want to gain our 1 life now. Yeah, that was a misplay by me. I missed a scry. Alright. So, opponents had enough. I don't think opponent was necessarily dead there, but we obviously had a pretty large advantage. So we're now 5-3 versus Mono Red, and we're going to jump into the next match pretty quickly. But yeah, I punted that game. I should have got one more scrap. Sorry, guys. It's 6 a.m. here. I have no real excuse. We've been up. This is, going on our. We watched all of Worlds. We streamed earlier. We're streaming now. No real excuse. I'm sorry. I apologize. I need to tighten up, especially if we want to salvage our rating or whatever. We're back up to around like an 1850 rating, so pushing for that 1900 rating again before we tank it off playing more jank decks like we are right now. We play a lot of fun decks, so it's really hard for us to keep our rating above average. And we got us another opponent going on. This is the third game one that we've had to mulligan because we've had a one swamp game one hand. Yeah, this hand's much better. Still a little appalling that that's happening 3 games in a row. Yeah, we'll snap keep a random creature. So we got a swamp coming out of our opponent. We get to cast Legion Landing, one of our favorite little cards. So it looks like it's black-green. That's a little unfortunate because that means we have to take the turn off and to cast the Fatal Push before he starts getting out of hand. Glint Siphoner. So he's going to draw a card no matter what, so let's offer him to trade. Let's go ahead and lead with the Fleet Hoarder here. By leading with the Fleet Hoarder, we have the opportunity to get both hidden stockpiles online next turn. Because of the treasure. And it's going to come down to a lot of what both of our hands are right now. He mulliganed to 5 this game, so he's not in any great shape either. Does look like his hand is very good though, so we'll have to see. We're sacking this guy anyway, so it's probably worth it to see if we can get the damage in. Could have played the hidden stockpile though. So we'll place a little hidden stockpile here. Sack this thing to get a treasure and a scry. And we don't want another Legion Landing. And we'll jump up to double hidden stockpile now, which is just huge game. Now we're clearly just looking for an anointed procession to really just start going off the hizzy, my nizzy. So Fatal Pushing one of our dudes. I guess he's got a Walking Blister or something for the other one. Savage Stomp. Interesting. Wonder if he has dinos in his deck. That's whatever. He's out of cards, so. Take our draw step here. Oh, that was wonderful. Go ahead and get rid of this thing while we can. No, wait. We want to sack this one and save that thing for later. We get 2 hidden stockpiles here, so we can start preventing damage if we choose. If he plays a land pre-combat, we certainly won't block. Alright, so it's a Winding Constrictor. Alright, we're just going to flip a Jonto here, or whatever it's called. I think it's called like a Jonto. A Donto, yeah. Hey, thanks for the auto host, Chris. 16 viewers. That's a pretty good auto host. So he's going to take it all because he doesn't want us to trigger these. Just fine by us. Just going to go ahead and play this. We'll go ahead and sack one of these. Cat stays on top. And then we play a land to activate a Jonto. We get 2 more tokens. So this is what you call doing it. Verdus Gearhulk, of course. No reason not to draw the best possible in that spot. Still think we're pretty fine. So let's just go ahead and start with this. And how much damage do we want to prevent? Just go ahead and prevent 5. And, so we're going to attack him with everything. He's going to eat one of our things and take 4. Might take it all 5 because he doesn't want us to get a double, but if he's going to block anything, he should be blocking the vampire. There you go. I missed a scry again, but I want to make... I want to make the cat here since he blocked. Alright, apparently I didn't tap my mana right. So we put a lot of power in play. 6 of it lifelink, so unless he has a removal spell for the Regal Caracal, he doesn't have a very good attack, and he also doesn't have a very good blocks, because if he blocks the biggest, he goes down. Yeah. Yeah, so we're playing versus Black-Green. We're currently 2-0 versus Black-Green, but it's never an easy match, and we've cut one of the Fumigates from the sideboard, which is just going to make it an even harder match. But anyway, the Fumigates come in because they can really just get ahead of you. Used to, you needed to bring the Angel of Sanctions in because they had all sorts of absurd Planeswalkers. They don't really have the absurd Planeswalkers anymore, but I still think the Angel of Sanctions are very worth it. Cards that are typically not good in this match, it's typically the Fleetwood Hoarders. And the cast outs don't really feel like they're worth it. But anyway, so our first experience with Rune Raider here, if the Rune Raiders... Actually, the Rune Raiders probably aren't good. The Rune Raiders seem like they're kind of bad. That was probably bad of me. Alright, well this hand's a keep, even though it's not good. So he mulliganed 6 this time, put a card on top, so his hand's almost assuredly better than our hand. So we'll go ahead and play the cat. Save our token for after we play the Anointed Priest. Alright, that's fair. So if he's got a Rishkar, that's going to be pretty good for him. Yeah, well, there's a Rishkar. Secondhand stockpile is obviously great for us. Alright, so scan this, our one little point of life here. What's he got this time? Oh, wow. That was a really nice curve by him. Alright, so we could be in some problems now. We could have some real problems now. Yeah. That's pretty good. Can't say much about it that's negative. We're missing our fourth land, which is unfortunate. Hey, we're up to 19 people now watching us get browned. Yeah, we're still on 4 push. Hopefully we'll draw one at some point. But we're really far behind. This walking ballista is just putting us under a ton of pressure. Because he can just like put a counter on and kill the cat, attack for 4. Oh, well, he just got double Gear Hulk. Yeah, so we're not going to win this game. Maybe if we draw... I don't even think we have enough time to draw land fumigate. Don't think we have enough time to even draw land fumigate. I guess he can kill this now if he wants. By the way, what's up, Supra? How are you doing today? Sure. Sure. Go ahead and get our stockpile trigger. Technically need to land, right? Like any out that we do have here involves us having to land, so we can play a Caracal next turn. Guess we block this. But it doesn't really work because he taps these 4 and then sacks that, so we'll just prevent 3 damage then. Don't think we're completely dead, I guess. Yeah, I've saw the Candio play Sultai Energy a few times. It looks like it's a pretty impressive deck. So I guess he's gonna kill these now. And he's losing this tool, which is great. Imagine if we were drawing a Fumigate. We're not drawing a Fumigate, but imagine if we were. Alright, so looks like the board's kind of stable. Have to see what he has. Board's not stable at all, by the way. I like to make facetious statements to make myself good, make me feel good about myself. He's just sitting over there itching and ready to rock with all of his black cards whenever he draws them. Hey, it's Dumbo. Alright. Operation Dumbo Drop, boys. We do like Dumbo. a second Ishkan to turn both of those into 5/5s. That doesn't change my block at all. My block is still throw all of these under one of those to get the big dude off the table. So I assume he's going to leave us with a 1/1 cat. So a 1/1 cat, what do we want? We'll probably take our draw step to look for the Fumigate. We can Anointed Procession and sack this, which I guess is the better play. Sure. They gain a little life this way. Yeah, so we certainly don't want that card. Alright, well, we're back to 13. We're fighting through the mono green deck. He's not mono green, by the way. He's black green energy with a bad draw. Alright, well, it looks like we're going to take 5 here. What is that? That is the one that lets him draw cards. Alright, that's a pretty good one. Alright, so during our turn, we're going to go ahead. We don't have any double black spells, so we're just going to go ahead and scry that. Put that to the bottom, see what we draw. Draw another land, so same turn, last turn that we had this turn. I should have tapped my mana slightly better. We're not really bluffing anything, but it was still wrong not to leave the black up. Still wrong not to leave the black up there. So we're drawing to 2 Fumigates and an Anointed Procession. 5, 9. Well, I guess we don't want him to draw a card, so I think we're going to block here to prevent 4 damage, and then we're going to sack this guy so he doesn't draw a card. Sacred Cat. Sacred Cat gets us a couple of triggers. I actually think Sacred Cat's good enough to keep. We can change our mind if he plays something to the board that's scary, or if he does something that affects our Anointed Priest. Hey, J-Bone. What are you doing, man? You having a good day? Yeah, so we're going to keep this little dude. I don't know if he was worth keeping. Like, he gives us a decent amount of life this turn, but I don't know if that's worth keeping him. You don't have to be sorry, man. Thanks for stopping by, though. How'd your stream go? I didn't get to really watch very many streams tonight. I've been watching League of Legends Worlds all night. Go ahead and play this thing. It's got a power and toughness, and we can block with it. The go now is to try to get the Verdus Gearhulk off the table via combat. Probably willing to throw literally everything we have in front of it. 34 and 16 with blue-black control. That's really nice. I'd like to see that list, kind of. Alright, so the Verdus Gearhulk's a 5/5, and it's the card that I'm most worried about. He could have Blossoming Defense to make it a 7. What's the odds that he would have 2 Blossoming Defenses? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can deal like 8? I guess it's fine. We could just take another 5 and then like gang block this with a whole bunch of stuff, and block this with one thing, and think about blocking this the following turn. That probably seems safer. That probably seems safer. So if he has 7, if he has 2 blossoming defenses now, we still do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this thing would live, and we would lose all of our guys. But I think that's okay. Yeah, for some reason I feel like that's okay. We don't take any trample damage if that's what's happening. Don't care about our Rune Raider at all. Yeah, it seems pretty interesting. That's the only change we're trying today. It's been pretty good so far. I've really enjoyed it. I got to draw a bunch of extra cards versus Blue-White Approach, which is one of the harder matches to begin with. We know we have a Regal Caracal on top, which we're keeping. Keeping the cat on top just guarantees that we get all sorts of life off these Anointer Priests. Already yielded at those things once, but that's fine. We can technically attack with these now and flip Jono. Sack whichever one that he blocks there, I think. We do lose one more creature like this, but like this card's going to be too valuable going forward, I think. We're just not going to let him draw a card. Well, we're hellbent, so it doesn't matter which land we tap. We're certainly keeping an Anointed Procession. And we're back to 19, and we don't even have to block. Yeah. No, it felt like they're good. I don't know if it's going to end up... I don't know if them or the Greed's going to end up being better, but whichever one ends up being better, it's pretty nice. I just kind of don't even want to block those. I guess I'll prevent 4 damage, even though I don't feel like I need to. We already know we're scrying on top, so... Preventing 4 damage seems fine. Yeah, if he doesn't have a removal spell, it's probably game. He could have a removal spell, though. So how many lands do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so let's be cute and attack with one little servo and see if he decides to eat it. Please eat my little servo. Man, this legendary enchantment cycle has been so good. He's just sitting over there thinking, like, what in the world are you doing? I wouldn't even consider blocking that servo, because, like, what else could I be doing except trying to kill it, right? Like, I pretty much have to be trying to kill it. There's really nothing else I could be doing. Alright, well, he's decided to kill it for us. Nope, he's changed his mind. He's decided to kill it for us again. Alright. Search for Azcanta is ridiculous. Alright, so he's done. I guess he doesn't have an answer to the Anointed Procession. That little attack let us be able to activate our land, by the way, is while we did it. I tapped my mana very absurdly bad. I should have left the plains open. We were going to take a point of damage, but it's like 6:30 a.m. here. I'm going to make small mistakes that are embarrassing. So you'll have to please forgive me for making my small embarrassing mistakes. Let's see, so that was black-green, up to 3-0 versus black-green. Go ahead and save. I mean, I don't blame them. Like, how do you beat that card on turn 2? Yeah, I think I very underrated them at the beginning of the format. Like, when I looked at them on paper, I thought thought Legion's Landing was cool, and I thought Ascanto was cool, and I thought all the rest of them were just bad, and I was entirely wrong. Like, they are not bad. They were all good. The entire time, I was just wrong. The green one's probably the worst one in terms of standard, and like, I feel like it's going to be even playable. Alright, so this is very likely Teamer Energy, and if it's Teamer Energy, I think it's another one of our hard matches. We do have our 1-2 going, though, so... I clean my glasses off, sorry. So that's a little Longtusk Cub, and we're going to clearly Fatal Push it, but... Oh, sorry, I was cleaning my glasses. Didn't mean to be slow rowing you, opponent. I believe I played this guy before. I think he plays this deck most of the time. We're going to lead with this one first. That way we can get the guaranteed flip instead of him just using a removal spell. Because at the moment we don't really have any other ways to get this flip. Oh, well, never mind. The cool thing about this treasure is, next turn that we can use the treasure if we want and get the Anointed Procession even after we've tapped our mana. So that's a little bristling Hatteroo. Okay. Well, that makes us have to jump through a small hurdle here, but that's fine. It's worth it. Go ahead and yield to that trigger as well. A Legion's Landing. Do we want 2 little dudes? 2 little dudes is probably good enough. So, Glorybringers would be a problem here. This deck's a little bit weak to flyers. Alright, so no flyer. That's good. We're definitely not blocking here. We want to be able to flip our Legion next turn, providing he doesn't have a removal spell. I assume he'll have a removal spell, but he could not. They don't always have it. Is he gonna let me attack? He is letting me attack. Yay. Happy days. I assume he's not blocking then? Rune Raider? Probably don't need Rune Raider this game. We probably want to look for cats. Just some way to lifelink or Shelfed Dunes to like get through an attack. Yeah, that black one's very good. We're certainly going to be blocking here. Unfortunately, we can't scry because we don't have enough mana to scry and get an activation from this guy. So our opponents just had a very bad draw. I just want to attack. I want to end the game. Oh, well. I guess that'll end the game. Sure. Let's sacrifice it and look at our next card. Certainly don't want to land. Just hitting F6 here. I know he could use a burn spell or something and I could get another scribe, but Pressing F6 seems more valuable to me than that. So we kind of went crazy and our opponent drew a bunch of lands. The only things that could be really bad for us right now is like a Scarab God into a removal spell into Distilling the Caracal, but I'm pretty sure we go wide enough that that wouldn't even matter. Could have sacked something during my attack step, but he's got 3 cards in hand, so even if he killed my 3 biggest things and blocked 2 other things, he's dead here, I believe. We have well more than enough attackers to get past that. Alright, so he raids the big one. Sweltering Sun would be annoying, that's for sure. If he had a removal spell, he was obviously using it on the cat anyway, so there's no reason to leave the cat home on defense. I'm missing all sorts of scry triggers, but we're not really worried about missing the scry triggers. Like, I'm playing loose and sloppy. I'm not worried about missing those scry triggers at all. Alright, well, luckily for us, we hadn't hit F6 yet, so... Oh, hello, it's another cat. We hadn't hit F6 this turn. The one time we don't hit F6. Didn't kill our cat in response to his abrade, didn't kill the 2 blockers, just didn't care about any of that, but we still had an F6 and we could play around the magma spray. That's kind of hilarious. That is kind of hilarious. Alright, well anyway, Fumigate seemed pretty good here to me. The Angel of Sanctions have done a lot of work to me. I feel like I need to have some kind of answer to beating a... what do you call it? A stupid Chandra. And for the same reason I like bringing in the cast outs. What the sideboard out here is a lot more interesting. The Rune Raiders don't feel to me like they're going to get a lot of value here. I feel like we're going to be playing the defensive for way too long into the game. So it's between the worst cards feel to me like they're the Direfleet Hordes and the Rune Raiders. And I tend to want to take the Rune Raiders out in a match like this. I also tend to want to take out one of the Legion's landings. I really don't know what the other card to take out is. I've been taking out a land on the draw, but taking out a land on the draw seems really bad to me when I have 8 5-drops, which is another reason that I like keeping the thing that can produce a treasure in. I really don't know what I would take. I'd keep watching, but I'm going to go watch the League videos you saw earlier. Yeah, I don't blame you. They were pretty interesting. A few of the games were pretty good. I hope you enjoy it. Some of the picks were kind of cool, too. But enjoy. Really don't know what I want to take out here. Thank you very much. I guess we're just going to take out a Direfleet Hoarder or a... We'll take out like one of these 3 cards. None of these 3 cards seem to be particularly good. The 1-drops don't seem like they attack real well on the play. And drawing multiple of that card doesn't seem that great. The problem that's going to make this match so hard is, again, we're really soft to flyers, and they have the Whirler Virtuosos, and they have the Glorybringers. The Chandra can be problematic, and they're probably sideboarding in 3 or 4 negates. And obviously the 3 or 4 negates can be a real issue. What do we got here? So we have no white mana again, but we have double Fleet Hoarder. I kind of want to keep this hand. I want to see how good the Fleet Hoarders actually are. I believe this hand to be a mulligan, but I'm keeping it for purely science. So, keep in mind I would not recommend keeping this hand. This hand is, I'm keeping it for pure science. Because I'm really trying to rate how good this card is, because people are telling me that this is one of the cards they think I should replace. So I really want to put it in its worst case scenario and just see how it performs. Which just feels about like the worst case scenario for the card. That's probably wrong. Like, the Fleet Hoarder doesn't even seem very good in this match in general. Well, we just hit a land, and it made all of what I just said irrelevant. It literally just made everything I said irrelevant. As we hit a white man, it was just like right off the top. Alright, so he didn't produce a red mana, so I'm just gonna go ahead and jam this, which plays around negate somewhat. It gives us the ability to potentially kill a 3-drop with a Fatal Push later. It's kind of interesting. Alright, so we're just gonna attack. I'm not going to play the Fleet Hoarder straight into a removal or into a negate. I don't really feel like there's a lot of value in doing that. I feel like our enchantments are too strong to do something like that too. And I tapped my mana very poorly. I obviously should have tapped the plains. I was thinking about the cast out. I was thinking about cycling the cast out, but that was a play mistake. Because I'm just not going to cycle this cast out. There's literally nothing that would make me cycle this cast out, so. Alright, well, that kind of works out. So, now we can go ahead and slip this thing through. Play a Field of Ruin. Can kind of attack with both here. He may not block, or he may make a token and block. Or he may just do that. Well, if he's just doing that, spoiler, we want the value anyway, so actually, we're just going to let that kill that because we can play around Magma Spray by not doing so. Now we have a cast out now to fight the first Glorybringer, which is kind of nice. Let's see what our opponent has. He's got to have something. Oh, another Whirler Virtuoso. Well, that was a good draw for him. Alright, well, let's start with this. Let's kill this one first. A cat. I guess I'll take a cat. We're not going to attack this turn. We need him to tap his mana so we know that our Fumigate resolves. One cool thing about Fumigates in a deck like this is a lot of opponents don't expect you to have a Fumigate in a deck like this. A little Rogue Refiner. Little Rogue Refiner is pretty nice. Would really like him to play like another 3-drop or another 2-drop here. It's we've worked on it a little bit. We're 15-7, which isn't great. It's in, you know, that 65% range, but I'm actually going to offer him the value here to try to blow us out because, again, I'm wanting him to tap his mana. I don't care if either of my things die. Like, we really want him to cast like a Harness Lightning or something so we know we can resolve a Fumigate. And if he kills both of our things, like, we're not that worried about it. That could have been better for us. For sure. So he still has 3 cards in his hand. I really kind of want to hold this Fumigate a little longer. I might be trying to get too much value out of this Fumigate. I'm going to play the cat before the Fumigate. I kind of feel like if we just play the Fumigate and he has an answer, like we lose. Whereas I feel like our deck's better suited to beat him in the lone game than his deck is to beat us in the lone game. I kind of wanted one more mana to try to maybe cast out if he did have a Glorybringer, but... And like, I want him to use his mana on something, right? Like, I want him to think he needs to use it. So, Driven. Until end of turn, creatures you control gain trample whenever this creature... Oh, wow, that card is very, very good. That card's what I call problem, folks. Until end of turn, whenever creatures you control gain menace, whenever we discard a card. So basically, we're going to discard our hand now. Alright, looks like we're discarding our hand then. That was a pretty sweet card. I guess we did wait too long to use the Fumigate. Who knew? Who knew? That was pretty sweet. I like that card. I don't think I'd read that card before, and I've certainly not saw him in that list anyway. I don't think we're in that bad a shape, though. Like, he's going to need a removal spell. But he did just draw 5 cards, so he's obviously has to be advantaged right now, right? Kinda has to have an advantage at this moment. Well, we don't want that. There is one more Fumigate in our deck. An Anointed Procession might do something. Deck list. Hey, woman be shopping. Don't think I've saw you around before. Nice to meet you and all the jazzes. So opponent doesn't even have another creature. This is just kind of weird. We'll go ahead and use this while we can. I don't really know what our opponent's not playing, but sure, that's fine. But if he doesn't have anything, this kind of puts us decently far ahead in the race, if there is a race scenario to be had at all. I missed a scry there, by the way. Just wanting to press F6 cost us a scry. So that was pretty bad by me. We're not going to sack any of our... Oh, wow. We're not going to sacrifice any of our creatures in this spot. We're just going to attack. Yeah, that would feel pretty good too, man. There's good money in that. Alright, so... I don't think I want to just play this, or maybe I do because his life total's so low. Yeah, I think I'm fine playing it. I think if he had another removal spell, he'd have probably already used it. I think he's probably just like setting on a bunch of negates or something. Spell pierces and negates on top, maybe more lands. He could be flooding out real bad. But if he doesn't have any way to interact, this puts him down to 1. If he does have some way to interact, we can always sack the Angel of Sanctums and then use it on whatever he gets. You're as old school as I am. I started in Revised. I also started in Revised. I started playing in 93, guys. So I got you. I'm just kidding. But I did start playing in 93. Alright, so... Again, we're not going to scry. I just want all my creatures right now with this low life total as he has. to see what he has going on over there. He probably needs a removal spell. Alright, so he has no removal spell. So I think we played this game well. We did miss one scry that I noticed, but maybe I made other mistakes as well. I didn't even think about Driven and Despair, but I think it was probably right to hold the Fumigate anyway, because that's not a particularly common thing. If it was more common, it would have been right to probably just slam the Fumigate out and then figure out what happens. So, so it was right to play around the negates anyway, it appears. So, Sultai Energy. Well, okay. 2-0 versus Temur Energy. All of my old cards back, but I mean, there wasn't even sleeves back then. At least my local gaming stores didn't have them. We didn't even know about sleeves until around Mirage. I'd say somewhere in the Mirage neighborhoods when we first found out about sleeves here. But yeah, I guess it was right to play around in the gate. So we're gonna go. We've locked up the pity chest, and we're gonna try to sneak into a nice little 4-1 with our fun deck early in the morning. Oh, you wanted my email? I'm sorry. I sent you a private message, but I didn't know you actually wanted the email. I actually can't check email from my computer, so I'm gonna have to find a way. I'm gonna have to make an email address that I can check from my computer. Speaking of spilling stuff on cards, hello, the Great Rebel. I hadn't saw you before. I was once playing in a tournament when I was very young, and remember, I'm from Eastern Kentucky, so we're a bit rednecks here. We live in the Appalachian Mountains, you know, right around, like 45 minutes out where the Hatfield and McCoy legend is or whatever. But anyway, I accidentally knocked some guy's tobacco spit all over his Power 9 in the middle of a tournament. Anyway, so we're gonna play first, trying to go for a nice little 4-1, and this hand's about everything we want besides our wonderful enchantments. But we can't be that greedy. Yeah, I mean they wasn't worth a lot of money back then. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't like I was spilling it on $20,000 worth of cards. It was like I was just dropping it on like $200 worth of cards or whatever. Like it was still bad, but it wasn't bad like it is today. It wasn't. Oh Lord, I just got rid of somebody's small house. you know? Like we didn't have sleeves back then either. He just got a napkin and like patted them off, looked at the back and was like, still sleeve playable, let's go boys. I'm like, alright. If I can save this fatal push, I will. Um, I value this thing a lot less than this thing. Pot and jeans. Pot and jeans. I had a few Power 9 in my days. Most of them got traded the last couple years ago. The only Lotus I ever had was so played. It was like played yellow. Uh, I think it was worth $233 when I sold it in like 1998 on eBay or whatever. Anyway, so he went ahead and got the black land. All right, well, at least we have a blocker for that thing because we're getting nowhere fast right now. I'm actually not going to play the Evolving Wilds here. I could use it to defend my deck, but defending my deck doesn't even give us like a full percent of a change. And I'd rather save it for Hidden Stockpile. Right, so we got red mana this time. And without drawing the hidden stockpiles and stuff, we're just kind of like setting ducks. Far more relevant to getting laid than Moxes. Alright, so it's getting worse and worse for us. We're not getting anywhere and we're not getting there fast, friends. When you're 17, does it even matter? Nope, did not. You guys are having a nice conversation. I can't believe we're up to 34 people at 7 a.m. Eastern. Alright, well, things are getting worse and worse. We're probably not pulling out of this. I guess we block with this one now. We need to draw that hidden stockpile or that anointed procession on the ASAP. And then we still have to fade a bunch of things for this to work out. Our life total's at least at a high rate still. But this is feeling like we're going down to 3-1. What's our opponent's record? What is he? He's 1-0? He's a pretty strong player. I recognize his name. Oh. I guess we'll block this one. What do we got? Hey, it's a hidden stockpile. Is this too little too late? Only time will tell. Only time will tell. I think it's too little too late. I think we are pretty far behind now. Probably shouldn't press F6 because missing triggers at this point could be brutal when we're this far behind. Opponent doesn't seem like he's had a particularly great draw. He's just had the run-of-the-mill things that his deck always has. Alright, well, we'll block you here. I guess we'll block you and you. That was a mistake. I probably should have blocked him here. Yeah, I probably should have blocked him there. Why is it not letting me sack my dude? Alright, fine, I'll pay another one. How many times do I have to click that spell for it to work? Fatal Push isn't any good. Field of Rune's not any good. So... yeah. Rip. Now we need a lot of things to go right. Another Fatal Push isn't really one of them. Yep, we're dead. We'll just go ahead and move on to the next game. So again, I like these 6 cards in this match. The cards that I don't like are pretty varying, but I don't think we're going to get very many triggers off of a Rune Raider in general. And I don't think we really need the Legion's Landings. I do kind of want to keep the Fleet Hoarders, though, the more I think about it. Sideboarded out one last game, and I thought it was wrong. Now I'm pretty happy to keep it. The Fumigates are in our sideboard. We don't have any Fumigates main deck. We chose to go with the Regal Caracol's main deck in the spot that a lot of people have Fumigates. Yeah, we played Teamer back to back. Like this is round 5. That was game 1 of round 5. I actually think the Sunscourger champions are reasonable in this match. They might be better than the Fleet Hoarders. Just the fact that they gain 2 life and then put a 4/4 in play, and the 4/4 has a relevant body versus what they're attacking. But for the most part, if we don't get our enchantments, it doesn't matter, and then our power and toughness doesn't really matter once we got our enchantments. She's been very good out of mono red for us. I've not seen her be particularly good out of Teamer, and I've saw a lot of the mono red matches cutting her down to 1 in the main deck. Alright, so what do we got going on here? We have one of our good enchantments, we have double Fleetwood Hoarder, and we have a Fumigate. So even though we're light on lands, I think this is a keep. We didn't have an Attune, so that's kind of good for us as well. Like how I was trying to attack with her, and like, you just can't attack with her right now. Also, like how I'm calling... Oh, it is a her, I think. Apparently I'm not as chauvinistic as I thought, friends. Well, that card's very good versus us. Right on time, Consecrated Courtyard. I like how I called it Consecrated and it's concealed. It's not consecrated whatsoever. Hopefully opponent's not packing main deck Enchantment Destruction. That would be neat for us. It looks feminine. Kinda just want to play this thing. You can't counterspell this thing. So he went ahead and made tokens, which kind of makes me just want to take the tokens. How much do I care about the Whirler Virtuoso? Probably not. Feminine or fancy, you decide. Wait, that's an actual flavor text? Alright. Looks like I'm Googling something. Rigging Runner. I gotta go look at the art of that card and everything then. That is not the flavor text of that card whatsoever. Eek! Well, that's disappointing. And by disappointing, I mean now we're going to get to resolve this Fumigate, so it's not the end of the world? Oh, hello. I guess we'll start with an attack. I don't know why I'm starting with an attack. This attack's just wrong. Yeah, this attack's just very wrong. That was a very bad attack by me. I got 2 damage in, but I don't think that was worth 2 damage. Actually, it probably was worth 2 damage on hindsight. Go ahead and sneak another Anointed Procession in. Men in fancy fats are a thing on Ixalan. By the way, hello to Great Revel. I don't think I've noticed you around before. So, Whirler Virtuoso. Please play a friend for your Whirler Virtuoso. No friend? That's disappointing. I'm still going to buy this thing back. It's just 9 points of power. Oh, sorry, it's 12 points of power. I forgot this doubles the second one as well. My bad. But that was all sorts of good. I kind of just don't want to kill the Whirler Virtuoso and give him 3 more energy. Yeah, he can have it. Screw him. Like, he has to have a removal spell or something in this spot. So he doesn't even have very good blocks even with like a Glorybringer because we can just sack the desert next turn. Well, there's a Chandra. I guess we get to see how good it is. Take care, man. Enjoy your work. Alright, I guess we'll attack the Chandra then? Sure. I don't really want to attack the Chandra, but... I feel decent about this game, but I don't feel great. Drawing another Angel of Sanctions would make me perk up real well. But he's almost got the board stabilized. He's just Driven in Despair again. So he's going to draw a bunch of cards. Yeah, I'm liking this Driven in Despair. It's been kind of mirror breaking in these matches. Yeah, so we drop 4 here. We have to discard our Field of Ruin. Makes me even happier that we played the desert now. Let's see what he hit. Oh well, he didn't make us discard. Never mind. I take that back. We didn't have to discard. I just assumed he'd flash it back. That gives Menace too. And a Confiscation Coup. Ooh. That's a good one. Is that a good card? Is that a good card, guys? So, opponent needs a Swelter now, it looks like. So, opponent brought in Confiscation Coup versus us. That is not something I expected. Go ahead and sack this desert. Yes. Attack with everything but the cat, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blockers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he had enough energy to block 2 more. So yeah, I probably don't attack with the cat there. Huh. Yeah, I've been trying to explain that a lot on my stream when we've been tuning blue white approach. Like we have a bunch of 4-ofs in our blue white approach sideboard right now, but it's really hard to pin down a sideboard versus an unknown meta. And we're not seeing anything based on my stat sheets that like there's a lot of mono red. There's like a lot of blue white approach, a lot of black green energy, and a lot of teamer energy. But like there is, if we take those 4 decks combined, I have 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 20, 22, 23 matches out of. So about 50% of our matches are those decks, so we're starting to be able to make a few conclusions. Alright, so anyway, back to the sideboard since I wasted a minute and 30 seconds doing math. I don't think we need the Lost Legacies. Again, I don't think the Rune Raiders are really attacking. The Sun Scourgers are okay, but they're not great. The Cats give us 2 blockers, so I think they're a little bit better than Legion's Landing. I think we're just going to run it back. We got to keep a little bit more thought on Driven in Despair. By the way, that's 2 opponents that's had Driven in Despair versus us, so maybe that's just a new thing. We go ahead and keep. Because last round's opponents had Driven in Despair as well. So this hand isn't particularly good, but I do believe it's a keep. I want to go ahead and lead with the Swamp on turn 1 so I can Fatal Push whatever 2-drop he has and play our own 2-drop. So Driven in Despair is becoming more popular. I guess we'll go with the Anointed Priest. Neither of them are particularly good here. The Anointed Priest is a little bit better because if we draw hidden stockpile, we can get 1 trigger, but it's like not a lot better. Then this one has the power to block. Alright, so we need to draw some enchantments to have any kind of chance. Like we're playing kind of like an 8 enchantment deck. So like drawing an enchantment is just vital. I'm almost wondering if you can mulligan any hand that doesn't have an enchantment in it. By the way, hello Kegris. I don't think I've saw you around before either. Alright, so we're going to snap block with this thing. It gives us a treasure, which allows us to play a cat if we draw it next turn. But more importantly, I just want that off his board before he ever gets to his Driven in Despairs and things of that nature. So there's a little Whirl of Virtuoso there. That's another land. So yeah, we need some help. It's pretty hard to do it when it's not tied to the energy. I think it's safe to go ahead and sacrifice this thing now. We don't have any double black spells in the deck, so we're just going to go ahead and get a swamp or plains. And there's an Angel of Sanctions. It's coming down at a weird time, but I don't really care if he kills it, so I think it's fine to go ahead and play. I'm going to go ahead and take the Thopter. I'm assuming he's going to have some kind of removal spell, so I don't think there's any reason to get the Whirler Virtuoso. He's going to have either a Confiscation Coup, a Glorybringer, a Harness Lightning, or a Chandra. He still has 5 cards in his hand, so it's pretty easy just to assume he's going to have one of those cards. Maybe even 2 of those cards. So there's at least one of those cards. Oh, so he's attacking with the Rogue Refiner too. That's a little interesting. So we're gonna triple block the Rogue Refiner for sure. Prevent some damage, get that off the table, and we don't care if any of our bomb cards go to our graveyard. Hey Tanya CC, how you doing? I don't know if I've noticed you around before. Alright, so I guess we just buy back the Angel of Sanctions again and do the same play. Like, we're not getting anywhere. We've not drawn any of our enchantments. He still has 4 cards, but yeah, we're having a small problem this game, of course. Alright, so this thing can become a 4/4. We're just going to go ahead and snap block it with this. We can buy this and the Anointer back next turn if we don't draw anything better. Oh, well, we drew something better. Alright. So we can say game on now. Go ahead and play that thing. It's kind of interesting. Do we want to play the cat, or do we want to wait and play the Anointed and the cat? I think we want to wait and play the Anointed and the cat. Maybe even play Anointed or Anointer and a cat, depending on what he plays on his turn. I don't think I want to just get rid of the cat value by itself. Probably going to block here on the Longtusk Cub and let him kill the Anointer that we currently have. Alright, so he's not really getting anywhere, but he does now have enough power to kill this thing if he wants. Snap block that. Just block it so quickly. Oh, that was a good play for him. Alright, so we'll start with this. Always yield to all of those. Always yield to all of those. We're not going to sandbag the Shelter Dunes because we've already saw Driven in Despair. We're pretty far behind here. Like, we have some real issues with this game still. We need to find like another Angel of Sanctums, potentially a hidden stockpile, Maybe another Anointed Priest. We just need to find some things. We need to draw cards. Karakal off the top is a useful card, but we don't get past the Whirler Virtuosos very easily like that. It would certainly be better than many cards that we could draw. Basically, we just don't want to draw any of the 14 lands left in our deck. Any spell in our deck at least gives us some value in this spot. And we just don't want to draw any of the 14 lands for like the next 3 turns. Even a Fumigate's not too bad here. I guess I could have blocked this to stop him from getting 2 energy. Seems kind of like a bad play now that I think about it. Letting him get that extra 2 energy was not very bright of me. And Scarab God. Well, we don't have anything good in our graveyard, I guess. So that makes a cat a lot worse, though. He has all sorts of good in his graveyard. Well, alright, friends. We need a pretty good draw here at some point. Don't exactly know what we need. I feel like we're so far behind now that we need multiple things. Feel like we need a Fumigate into like a hidden stockpile into something. If he doesn't have a removal spell, I guess there's some chance of just drawing another Angel of Sanctions is enough. But we're up the creek, as so to speak. Alright, so he doesn't want to attack this time. What do we got here? Hidden stockpile. Alright, so we're online. We're just going to hope it's good enough now. This was a play mistake, by the way. I should have definitely played the hidden stockpile pre-combat. Yeah, there's a very good possibility that that's true. This also puts the land into play untapped, so like we can't get any value off of that. Just have to hope he doesn't have a negate. Well, he didn't have a negate. Interesting. So, cards in the graveyard. There's still a lot better cards than this, so pretty safe to sacrifice this one now, I think. Certainly don't want that land. Alright, well, it's kind of an interesting race now. Kind of a weird board state. At some point, hopefully we're going to draw a Wrath of God. And hopefully it's going to resolve. Sacking the Dire Fleet actually seems kind of bad now that I think about it. The score is 1-1 right now. It's 1-1 right now, Tanya. This is round 5. We're currently 3-1. We're playing a pretty interesting game. He's got an Ice Engine in play. We've got an Ice Engine in play. It's really just going to be who hits something to break through first. That second swamp's pretty good by him. We can always use the Field of Ruin if we want. So he has 8 energy as we speak. That means he can make 2 tokens? Alright, we'll just block with a servo. And take 4. Actually, we're going to use this first. So that he can't make 2 things next turn. We only want him to make 1 thing a turn with the Scarab God. And anything that we scratch at the bottom now, we want to leave to the bottom. Um, so a Dire Fleet Hoarder. I don't think we want that. It doesn't seem like it has enough value for us. We'll go ahead and put that one on the bottom. Let's see what he has going on now. We're certainly going to sacrifice one of these. I don't think we're going to sacrifice two, though. Badlands. What do we want to do with a Badlands? Guess we'll start with an attack. He's about to break through. We need something pretty quickly. So he's taking another 3? Interesting. So we're going to kill something here. I guess we're just going to try to kill the Longtusk Cub. I tapped my mana very poorly. I don't even care. So we gain 4 energy again. I kind of like the MTGO interface myself, to be honest. So opponent has a lot of good threats out, and there's still 3 more creatures in the graveyard for him to get. I don't like our odds unless we find another hidden stockpile or another anointed procession or a fumigate and find them fast. A fumigate might not be enough. I actually multi-queue I almost always multi-queue when I'm not streaming. Streaming slows my computer down and I play a lot slower when I stream, but I pretty much multi-queue every time that I don't stream. I have 2 monitors and I keep one screen on both and I just go back and forth. Anyway, I don't like our spot in this game at all. We're gonna have to find a fumigate and he's gonna have to not have a Wrath of God. Or he's gonna have to not have a answer for it. At some point though, we know he has Driven and Despair in his deck, so like if we give him an infinite amount of turns, he's just gonna beat us with the Menace Claws, right? If he's attacking with a 2-1, it probably means he has a Magma Spray. Alright, he may have a Magma Spray, but... do we want to block the other 4/4? Probably not this turn. But he's the one definitely getting the advantage here, not us. Feels like he F6'd. Another hidden stockpile? We'll leave that one on top, I guess. Well, folks, that was another good card for him. We're going to keep attacking. Alright, so we've forced blocks now. Forcing blocks is good. Well, he had a negate. And that's pretty brutal. What can we do now? Just -2 damage to a random thing, I guess? Yeah, well, we have to hope his last card's not particularly good. They gain 4 more life here. We have quite a few blockers, but we can't beat a Driven in Despair anymore, I don't think. I haven't done the math, but I don't believe we can actually beat a Driven in Despair anymore. Pretty sure we're just dead. And we may not be. We may get one more draw step to find that Wrath of God. Yeah, but we don't have to assume it's negate, right? Like, it could be something other than negate. It could just be like getting another really nice creature. So he put on top. Put on top. So I feel like we're dead unless we draw the Fumigate. We may should have sacked a bunch of creatures and went all in on looking for the Fumigate earlier. Not actually sure. But anyway. No, I mean Fumigate, I'm just saying. Don't know that he brings them all in, though. I would bring them all in. I would have the full 4. He's gone like 30 cards deep. It's very reasonable that he has one. Like I'm just trying to think of lines that would give us a chance. Okay, so opponents bring in the pain this turn. Sure. Alright, so let's go to blocks. We'll block you. 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 And you. So that leaves us with 4, 5, 6, 7 damage we're taking like that. I don't know if keeping the Anointer Processions around do anything at this point. I feel like we're on Fumigate or Bust, so if we're on Fumigate or Bust, like keeping those around probably don't do anything. We're actually dead to that block. Well, we're not dead to that block. We have the 2 lifelink, but he could have like a removal spell or something. Alright. We're dead to that too, ain't we? So no matter what, it's 7. So, I guess we have to hope to get there then. Alright. So let's hope he doesn't have anything. Can't beat 2 removal spells at all. Can't beat a negate at all. Let's start with sacking this one. Don't want that. Next, let's sacrifice this one. Don't want that. Sacrifice this thing. Again, don't want that. And last but not least, sacrifice this thing. Keep the 2 lifelinkers so that we're still alive. And we don't want that. So we're in Fury at 2. He could have a Chandra or anything to kill us. Sup, George? You're getting ready. You're watching us get browned. So if he has a negate, we have 0 outs whatsoever. Alright, well, we found our card. Does he have the answer? Stay tuned. He does, in fact. GG. Fun games. We did find it, though, so that puts us at 8, and 2-1 versus Teamer. It's just game 1 and 3. We just did not draw our enchantments early enough to matter. Like, we didn't play an enchantment at all game 1, I don't think. And we didn't play an enchantment game 2 until like game 3 until like 6 or 7. I do believe that to be a pretty hard match post board regardless, so not too upset to lose to it. But anyway, so this is the list we're currently on. The only thing that we've changed recently is the Rune Raiders. The Rune Raiders were actually pretty good. We sideboarded them out versus Teamer, but they were very good versus the control decks, and they were actually pretty good versus the mono red opponent. If we're going to beat blue-red, or if we're going to beat blue-white approach and stuff, we probably need some more discard cards in the sideboard. The Fatal Pushes seem like they're not worth it in the main deck. Like I've been pretty unimpressed by these Fatal Pushes. A fellow viewer suggested that we cut the Fatal Pushes for the Duress in the main deck, and if we put the Duress in the main deck, that gives us a minimum of 3 more sideboard slots and gives us an extra discard spell in the deck in general. Thank you for following Eldrago10. Appreciate it, man. But yeah, we'll keep tuning this deck. This is our fun deck. We're currently 16-8 with this black-white deck. We're 18-2 with blue-white approach. So if we're playing to win, we're going to keep playing blue-white approach. And we're 33-8 with mono red. So like, but I don't want to keep playing just mono red and blue-white approach all the time. I think that makes for a less good viewing. Makes for a less good viewing experience. I like to change it up, and this is the deck that we're working on. Besides that. But anyway, I'd like to thank wow, there's 62 of you. I'm amazed that 62 people are watching this early in the morning. I highly appreciate it, and I'm sorry that I have to run so early, but I needed to get a stream in because I will not be home this evening. And let's see who there is to host. I believe there's an Esper control deck and a probably a Jeskai deck out there that exists that's reasonable. I don't know if they're better than just playing like blue-white, but I do believe they probably exist, and I do believe that they are reasonable. Anyway, thanks for stopping by, everybody. I appreciate it. I appreciate the follows, the bit donations, everything, and we're going to host our buddy Dave C. It's the first time we've been on in a long time, early enough to host Dave. And he's doing Ixalan drafts, but nobody else that I watch is actually playing Standard. I always prefer to host a Standard streamer, but there just doesn't seem to be any on currently on my list. But again, if you like what you're seeing, please give us a follow here. Please give us a, look at the links below. Follow our Twitter to see every time we go live, every deck list we play. And if you follow the link to the YouTube below, you'll see all of our streams, some other little random contents, but not much other random content. But especially, if you're watching from the YouTube, keep in mind, in the description from every video, there is the deck list, a link to the Twitch, and a link to the Twitter. Anyway, see you guys, take care, and I'll be back tomorrow, as always.